dude. Good. It's always exciting when it comes to stream time. I'm super excited today. Although I got to spend some time with the family over the next few days, I've finally buckled and not waiting to move stuff out of the studio storage, and so I ordered another monitor, which I'm so in desperate need of. Like, I've been working from one large monitor, which is great. It works, but it's not ideal. And I've just been increasingly getting frustrated and having the Mac in like shell mode and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm just like, you know what? I won't wait. I can't wait the extra 6 weeks or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, I ordered it. I'm excited. Yeah, I would have had to wait 6 weeks. And because you know me, like I'm like bootstrap king, right? I'm like the tightest person on earth. So I'm just like, oh, why would I want to spend the money if I'm gonna, you know? And then I was like, actually, business expense, you know, like business expense. So I'm just like, okay, cool. So I've ordered my new monitor that's coming tomorrow.
Dude, definitely a business expense. I think that's like, no harm in really optimizing the place that you sit and you spend so much of your life.
Yeah, like all day.
Yeah, that's how I justified spending a lot of money on a bed. Actually, like more money than I normally ever would, and I still got it over 50% like 50% off, right? Over half off. Paid almost $2,000 for it. California King. So Dakota has plenty of space, right? I don't have to bother her in the middle of the night.
But Dakota's Chase's
dog, yeah.
I was going to say side chick.
Side chick, yeah. But I'm spending 6 to 8 hours a day in bed, so it was like that's a third of my life.
The way we justify stuff is amazing.
Bro, I break it down into atomic units, I'm like, okay, so then if I were to put minutes on that per minute, how much does it cost?
It's true though. Yeah, it's true though. Like, it's valid. Mm-hmm. I can't believe we've now got 6 whole subscribers.
6 whole YouTube subscribers.
And we only just started. That is awesome. It's funny because I was like celebrating when we got a single subscriber yesterday. I was so happy about it, and I was thinking, like, how ridiculous is that? But then I thought, even someone that has like millions, they started with 1. And I thought, you know what? I'll take it.
We all start from somewhere, yeah,
man. So good.
But so let's real quick, let's run down what did we cover yesterday? What did we complete? What went well?
Yeah. Do you want me to shall I share my screen, or do you just want to talk about it?
Dude, totally up to you. You want to share your screen?
Yeah, it might be helpful because I've got this. So I guess
go right ahead. No,
we spoke. Oh no, sorry, my bad.
Now
we were. I promise we won't. Yeah. So what did we do?
You can reshare now. Oh no,
it's it's resharing. Okay, cool. So what did we do? So we were working more on developing Glitch, right? Which is our system, our desktop app that is basically a mixture of all of the amazing ideas and things that we do with AI in one place, automated, rock solid, from the ground up, fixing all the mistakes we made in the past, right? And inheriting all of the nice stuff that we spent so long working on that was hard to implement in our current systems because of the maintenance challenge of like all the stuff we were doing. And so we wanted to show people that journey, right? And so we continued with that, right? So we started it, a few days back. And we were just, from the beginning, right? Building the shell. We went through that. We added a terminal. We started to create that dev environment. We created loads of cool monitoring tools. So we had transparency over like the way when you're prompting with AI. We built it on top of Auth for Claude, so we could use our Mac subscriptions. We made sure that everything was working properly. We did lots of inference checks and perimeter checks and all the kind of technical setup, I guess. And all of the quality of life stuff that helps us kind of build it out from inside the system. And then we got to a point yesterday where we actually got the algorithm. We tested one specific thing in the algorithm that kind of proves the whole system for the MVP. And that was that when we submitted a prompt, something injected got in the way, and we used hook infrastructure and stuff for that. And it then allocated to a different agent model, which then could evaluate the prompt, infer it. It then injected classifiers, and then before the prompt was even received, it could trigger something in this space we call the algorithm, right? And we tested that worked, that whole flow, which opens up a whole bunch of cool, crazy things you can do. And I would say think like OpenClaw, think Hermes, but like imagine that on steroids, right? So you can have all sorts of interesting layers and systems, like incredible memory management, persistent memory. You can have autonomy, you can have scheduling, you can have different interface interactions, you can have agent to agent swarming and all sorts of wild things. It really is a Jarvis, right? Truly something that gets to know you. You ask a question, it has this 80-20 rule where it's not the model just randomly answering you, it's deterministic. So all of that kind of stuff was proven just through this simple little use case. And then finally today, I just cleaned up a few things. I just added a bit of UI status stuff. So I put in this, which I'll show you when we get started, but I put in this concentric Apple style fitness rings to show my limits on my Claude auth. So my 5-hour limits, and when they reset my 7-day limits, I put in some context data. So I knew how much context I was using, status line stuff, just basically just fleshing it out, right? And I set us up for the big phase, which is this other little tab, which is how we look into the actual algorithm. And and then I did a whole bunch of even deeper work, which I'm happy to go into when the time comes that we're going to launch this stuff. But I didn't know if you wanted to do that now or later, or
Yeah, dude. I think that was a great summary of yesterday. And one thing, I had a quick question. If you scroll up just a little bit, why'd you use those colors there for the event logs? What's the purpose of having the colors in there like that throughout the software?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is that colors are just palettes. So generally, you can obviously pick any colors you want, right? But I do have to test there isn't these weird edge cases. So I generally go with all primaries because there are these weird, it's a technical thing, right? There are these weird runtime things that happen when working in Electron, which is what we use for our shell, with a view to maybe after the MVP port to Tori. But the idea was that I just wanted to always use these different palettes. I'm going to do pastels in my next development cycle, and then it's got the full span of that problem, and that's really it. But they will be color coded in some way, because I think it's really important when I'm designing this stuff that I'm technical in the sense that I'm developing it, right? And so I kind of know what's going on, and I want there to be enough information that anyone can get as technical as they want with it. But I also want people that aren't so technical to just get the general high-level feel of what's going on without having to like go into all that stuff and just work with AI and copy and paste and stuff. Because it's that kind of Apple philosophy. You should be able to kind of see things, in a way that just makes sense, and you shouldn't have to understand it. And I'm going to touch a bit on that more today. It's kind of a design philosophy, but that's the reason. It's I mean, after the MVP is done, your own version, maybe give people the option to do all sorts of different palettes and whatever they want. Really, anyone, it doesn't really matter, right?
Sweet, man. Yeah, that's really helpful. And that makes a lot of sense as well. Just testing that all the different colors and the full range actually works, because I'm sure I'm not alone in getting so far along a project trying to change out the color for something different, and things start getting all wonky. You're wondering, well, why? What
Yeah,
happened? What did I break?
it's really strange, isn't it? There's like so many. It's more a Windows issue, but there's these weird rendering issues that you get with certain colors, and especially when you're using things like terminal stuff, like any .js kind of stuff. You just introduce these weird artifacts. It's a really unusual thing. The way to think about it is like fonts, like, you know, expecting fonts to look a certain way in like an IDE when you haven't installed the packages properly, and they're like, you know, and that can happen with colors. It's a weird one. It's a really unlikely edge case, but it's one I've come across enough that I just feel like I just want to, you know.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Because once
Yeah.
you run into it, it leaves you scratching your head for sure.
Yeah, it's just annoying. It's just annoying. You don't have to waste time with that stuff. So I just do it while I go. That's the principle, isn't it? Just do everything as you go, especially in an MVP. I just want to get it done as quickly as possible, but to a standard that's good enough that if we choose to continue with it, that it's not a complete mess and it's not a complete rewrite. It's more just code review and just cleaning it up, you know?
Yeah. Sweet, man. Well, what are we jumping in today?
Yeah, so today's been a really like administrative day. So today's been a lot of work in the back end. So for those that don't know, my background is in data. And so today the goal was that in fact, let's just show it, right? Because it's more fun to look at this thing, right? I'm just going to load up.
Always more fun to show than tell.
Yeah, show and tell.
Yeah.
So a few things. So as you can see, we got a little status stuff going on. We've got the data that we need for real time for certain inference. And as you can see here, there's this tab called algorithm, right? And it just says algorithm no graph coming in slice E2. We're in slice E2. So we did a bit of this quality of life stuff, right? We also did, this might sound really obvious, but if I type in a prompt like files in this directory, and then I go to this page, before today, it was re-rendering the terminal. So that would have been now like exiting the terminal. But what I've done now is that you can see it's still processing. So when I go back, it's still going. So there's little quality of life stuff. But the idea is today I had to work out, we have this algorithm that sounds kind of intimidating when you hear the word algorithm. But what it is you got to think of it like a second brain, right? That's kind of what I think we hear a lot. But this is like an actual second brain, right? And so what it can do is when you prompt or when you start a session or when you exit a session or when you do a tool call, you know, you can use triggers like hooks, or when you click a button in your terminal or in your system, you can trigger, or when you use your voice, you can trigger, or whatever it is, right? It can take these triggers and it can inject itself in there with actual deterministic code, which basically just means it's not letting the model just think on its own and make up its mind. It's actually telling it, this is what I want you to do, codified, right? And then because of that, you can start categorizing it with different things. Like the example we went through yesterday was like an effort classifier, right? And that idea was that it would send it off to using a submit prompt hook. Let's actually show you. So I would put in the prompt, which was in this case, files in this directory, and it then listed it, right? And it would do this stdin read, right? Which, by the way, is the same where I got all the data for all this stuff too, which is great because they fixed that in the latest version of Claude. And it basically then is able to pass it to somewhere else. In this case, I asked it to be Sonnet, and Sonnet can then get involved and classify the prompt and say, is this a difficult prompt? You know, what is the effort I think that's going to be required? And then we can use our algorithm to define the format, in this case, native, right? To inject it on the prompt, and then therefore something else can happen, right? And what we proved yesterday is when it's hard, we asked it to follow this ISA skill methodology. So it basically invoked a skill automatically, right? So the way to think about this is, imagine you had all of these cool things in a system, right? Like when you do certain research and you want your system to go and scrape Instagram reels, right? You want it to understand how to do that, right? And maybe sometimes there are some websites that have captures that you have to like click on and stuff like that, right? This is a complicated problem because AI will just default to like trying to use Playwright or something like that, right? You can just, so this makes it autonomous. So if I just say, hey, I need to scrape some research on Insta and other social media platforms, it would be able to use this algorithm to classify the query, work out what needs to happen, and automatically know I need to use these skills, these tools, this stuff, and it will start to feel like your AI is kind of smarter, right? Because you're defining the way it behaves. And this is a compounding thing, right? Because if you think about another layer like memory, it's the same principle. If you've got a local LLM running on your system, like a little small 60 meg model or something, you can have it constantly monitoring as long as we're presenting the information, and we use some other things, right? We use things like Bun and other things. So there's all these events, and it can monitor for this, and in real time say, that's a memory for self-learning I should keep, and take it and take action without any tokens being spent and without you saying, I need to remember that. So you can start to build these really interesting architecture all through an algorithm, right? And so today, what I was doing was taking the algorithm that we had designed, right, that's kind of set up to do all of this stuff at some point in time, right? Initially, you build it out slowly because you have to evaluate things carefully. It's quite delicate. But the idea is that I needed to work out how the data was going to flow, how the data was going to flow through the system. So I put on my data hat today, and I spent most of the day doing quite deep data engineering. And looking at all the data that's available, what could change, how we work with it, how we manage it, so that it's architected in a way that works and is performant and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I did, and then I thought about like I always do when I work with planning and stuff, is I thought about how to visualize it. Right. So when I look in this algorithm tab, which is meant to give us insight, just like that rail there on the right is all of those like hook related statements and events, right? That gives us a vision of what's happening. So I know it's working, right? Because this is a dev environment, right? This is for someone that's developing. A user wouldn't even need to see that, right? They might want to see it if they want to do some cool stuff themselves. But, this is for us, right? While we're developing. And I had to think about like, what is the data structure to best represent and illustrate the algorithm in a way that's cool for us, but I could just look at the code, right? Because I kind of know what's going on, but in a way that's visually works for a user, right? And also, what colors do I need to use because of this stuff that I need to test, right? So there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of planning. There was a lot of deep analysis, thinking about architecture in the algorithm, how it's going to all link together, taking what I know works, what I think was broken in the previous algorithm, and fixing it. So it's a lot of kind of technical work, right? And this stuff probably looks quite scary to people who aren't, too technical. But the idea was, how do I just monitor what's actually going on? That's the reality. How can I check it's working? And how can the system then understand itself so that it can do things like self-improvement, self-upgrading, and all that cool like Ultron Jarvis stuff, right? And so that's what I was doing for most of today. And then I just went into a typical planning phase, and this is just that typical workflow, and we've spoken about it a few times. We conclude our research, we make sure we've got lots of context management and alignment, we draft the spec, we plan, we make sure it's design led, so we know what our expected versus observed is going to be for UAT testing, and then we go for it. I would say the difference today is that this is definitely something where things will go wrong. And I think we've had 2 sessions live, and both of them have just been like faultless. And, you know, as grateful as I am for that, that's not the reality of what we do. So I figured, like, let's go for some of this hard stuff because it's going to definitely, you know, be funky. So, yeah, that's what we did today.
Why not take advantage of all of that good luck that life
to
bring us? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. All right. Should we just get straight into it?
Sweet, bro. Yeah, I'm thinking today, man, since we're on a little bit of a limited time frame, let's just jump right into it.
So what I'm going to do is
what they want.
Yeah, so I'm going to CD into the directory for the project that I'm building. I'm going to get Claude up here where I actually do the work, right? And then I'm just going to type my command, which is resume glitch build, and hit go. And let's see what happens. I should probably put it into, by holding shift and tab down here, I can pick the mode. I'm going to go into auto mode, my new favorite mode, because it's like the dangerously skip permissions I always wanted, right? It's just slightly safer. E1 is merged, so it's looking at my GitHub stuff. This is the name of the phase. E1 was the phase where I did the terminal rendering, just making sure the terminal rendered. That was it. And E21, which is multiple sub slices, 2.1, 2.2, is where we start doing the algorithm stuff. So yeah, this is definitely the most interesting part. So we got down here, it's going to read the design lock, which is basically me saying this is what I want it to look like roughly. I haven't given much guidance. I think with stuff like this, I find the best results come from just kind of giving it a relatively loose, you know, and then letting it go. And then because it can infer, there's lots of context that can happen. So I try and give it limited guidance, but enough that I think I can steer it and that it understands me, and then let it do a bit of inference and then refine afterwards, right? So, and this gets harder and harder, I think, depending on the type of work. Like when you're doing qualitative work, like a website design or something like that, and you aren't giving references of like, I want it to look like this, this becomes harder, right? Just using language to say, I want it to look kind of like this, you know, using words like minimal and, you know, it's what does that mean? You know, if you type in minimal art, you're going to see that it's all different, right? Okay, I have enough information on the design lock. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Kem, real quick, I wanted to drop in and mention it's an interesting observation. And actually, just yesterday, I was playing in the front end of Claude, and they have a like analyze my skill level or your like AI fluency, right? And it doesn't actually load all of the Claude code information in, so it didn't really give a great picture. But of the front end conversations that I had with it, it suggested asking more often for me to help it, for it to come up with different ideas for me, or rather different routes to accomplishing whatever idea I have. So if I want telling it more specifically, this is the goal I want, come up with 3 or 4 different routes and then pitch them to me. And I thought that was interesting. I don't do that often. I just tell it exactly what I want it to go do, but sometimes that's not always the best path, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think it's funny because remember, like in the Claude master prompt, it's a helpful coding agent. You know, that's the language they use. So it, like, I find even if you ask it, in fact, I might have proof of this.
Cool. We love
I might have, yeah, I might have proof of this. So no, it's not there. It's here. Look at this, right? So we were talking about data visualization. And I said, can you come up with some variants based on a particular methodology that I like, right? For how you should visualize data. Remember, I'm a data guy, right? So I spent a lot of time doing like big data projects. So I was curious. So I gave it some methodologies and I said, show me some variations. And it came back to me with this. Now look at this. It said A, Apple style, right? B, mechanical. C, Vercel. D, monochrome. Do those look much different to you?
No, not.
Right.
I mean, a little bit, but not much. No.
They're not really variations. They're not design led, data viz led variations.
No.
And so I gave it a better prompt and better logic, and then we started talking more about the visual cues in data viz and how information can be shown on the screen without filling it with lots of data. And I spoke to it for a while, and then I basically said to it, can you come up with some new ideas? And then it came up with all of these clever ways of depicting things and moving states and, how to take the information. Then we synthesized together, right? And then we decided on a taxonomy. So we said, it's a circle when it's a process, which is kind of like you'd see in a Visio diagram, right? It's a hexagon when it's a decision. Database looks like a database, right? And so on. And from that, we then moved on to, okay, what is the schema that I think would work for us? And then, based on the context of what we're doing, and then we came up with the idea. And that was a little bit like the idea of, you're asking for it to kind of give you some different ideas, but what does it infer from that? Do you just want something that looks four things that look different with slightly different colors? Or are you asking to give it real context of what different means? And when you do give it the context, I was pleasantly surprised with that, right? In terms of it really got it, and so that was like a moment for me today. Like, it's not something I always do. And I was really pleasantly surprised. I was like, wow. And I started thinking maybe that's related to the fact they've just done this Claude design thing. So it's probably been trained on some good design data now. So it's a little bit better at it, but you have to kind of steer it, the model in the right way. So I was, this is just a hunch, right? I don't know that for a fact.
Hypothesis, yes.
Yeah, hypothesis, right. Yeah, okay, Mr. Scientist.
Hey, you know what? Just a part of doing the R&D of being a practitioner.
Yeah, it is. And this is
hypotheses.
Yeah, and guys, this is, I would say this is just design-led development, right? Design spec-led development. It's no different to when someone says draft a PRD, right? It's still a design spec-led development. It's just that I broke it down. What's the word you love to use? Atomic, right?
Yeah, you atomized it, or
atomized the. So this is design as in visual design, UI, UX, all that kind of stuff. And this is, architecture design, because that's what I was doing today, data engineering and architecture, specifically for the algo. Okay, I just need to keep a little eye on what's going on. So let's see. So we check the sibling component conventions. That's fine. I have enough authoring the data file. Okay, so it's taking my schema, components and CSS, because that's how it's going to render. Edge discipline rule, perimeter clip arrows. Okay, so these are rules that I've put in place, right? So I've got my own skill for rules that I collect based on like lessons learned. And this is just saying, when you have arrows, I don't want them overlapping and, the box ends here and then the arrow kind of goes through it, So this is just little things like making sure that the nuance, like I want perimeter clips. I want as little refinement ideally as I'd like. Then the SVG graph component. So that's talking about, look at that. Wow.
That looks beautiful.
Did not expect that. So this is just putting the general, this slice is just giving a general feel for the map, right, of the algo. Now, what I'd like to be able to do here is zoom. That's something I didn't think about. Zoom out and zoom in. So we'll maybe touch on that after this as a little thing. But let's just see. But this is, and this is just a smoke test, right? So it might not have even finished. But yeah, this is, so up here you can see these triggers, which could be prompts, hooks, right? Tool calls, sessions, files, cron jobs, whatever, right? And the idea is that they have an interaction. Then you have these processes, which is our input gate, where we do things like triage, which is what we see here, where it basically classifies things. There will be an escalation rule, but it's not in this run, because my rule is no theater, right? We don't put in anything that's there with a view like we'll pipe it in the future. Remember, we work in vertical slices, so I do need to see the full architecture, but at the same time, I need to make sure it's obvious that this absolutely hasn't been implemented. Yeah, so v1.1 and so on. The inject though is there, the glitch observe is there, the execute is there, scaffold, so on and so forth. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so let's see where we're going. These are just SVG components, right? As in the vector-based things, right? Like if you're using Adobe's Illustrator, it's basically a shape or a file or an image made with little points and lines that connect, and therefore it's infinite resolution, right? Because it can scale infinitely without losing resolution, unlike, like I say, a JPEG, which is lossy, right? Or a PNG.
You know what? That's crazy, man. I actually never thought about it that way, and how it's just a vector, and so you could do, multiply it by a scalar, and then you can infinitely expand it without losing resolution. That's actually really cool.
So people love SVGs. Yeah, a lot of creative industries love SVGs for that reason.
Man, I just thought, the system told me it was more efficient to load, and I noticed a bunch of, what is it? It's the, I'm totally blanking on what those are called. It's like in the tab what you can see for your logo for like a website.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's a really good use for it. And I think you touched on
usually SVGs.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on something quite interesting there. You just said, "Oh, the AI told me that would be more efficient." I think there's lots of things I come across like that, whether they're technical or not, where I'm just like, I don't know this domain at all, you know. So it's like I'm just going to ask, and I think the more work you do, the more this starts to feel more natural and easy, right?
Totally.
So I'm just going to give some feedback.
Also, you have more opportunity. Real quick, you have more opportunities to start questioning what's happening, because the reality is that whenever you're having a conversation with your system, more often than not, it's outputting things that you may not know inherently. So you need to ask questions, but you can't ask a question every single message that's off topic. You'll never get to the end of whatever you accomplish. So the more you do it,
and you have to be careful where you ask the question, because of context rot, and not just in the session, but then you might have an update file that updates part of the conversation you had, and then that, it's quite a nuanced thing.
Dude, your thread real quickly undergoes
fatality.
Totally. I love Mortal Kombat. What a classic game. Right.
Yes.
So we're at UAT for this slice. As you can see, it's a really small slice. So over to you for visual UAT. It says, so it says launch bunrun dev. So let's do that, because there might have been something. We'll just relaunch. It was up there, but because it did a smoke test, but we'll just relaunch it. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Does it scale? That's interesting. I'll just have a check. No, it doesn't, right? So you see there's no zoom feature at all, right? That's just something that I've observed. I didn't think about it. So let's have a look here. Palette scale dot grid match the locked design. Okay, what I see is the algorithm tab. I see the shapes that look correct and the grayed out elements that look correct. I don't see much of the palette, but I think that could be product of what we've done. The graph dots look a little bit light. I also noticed that we have these pills as our triggers. So I think we're missing some of the design-led context, probably. It might be looking too. I've also noticed that it doesn't scale with the glitch OS, and that there is no zoom in, zoom out scroll feature, which I don't think was defined in the spec. The taxonomy looks mostly correct, but again, it's hard to tell because I don't see anything live in terms of something being lit and so on. It just looks like a static image right now, which I think is probably right for E1, but the test case doesn't seem to align with that. I would reference the file decision, which was locked in on the following document to be sure, under 3. Here it is. So that was my voice prompt. I'm going to also reference the file. Now, the good news is, because we're dealing in small slices, because this is a bit of a dangerous one, right? And we have to be very careful that we know that when there's an issue coming up, I've got lots of context left over, right? We're at 162, so not to worry. But what is good about this, that is important, is it's understood the layers. It's also used the terminology zone. That's weird. Okay, hold on. I also noticed that the terminology for different layers is zone 1, zone 2, when it should be layers, etc. I think you definitely need to read back the third section of that document near the bottom, where we began to conclude what ultimately was transposed into the design spec. So what happened here is we had 2 documents, this is a rule of a good lesson to learn here. We have design decisions, which is where everything should live design related, but accidentally on a long context session, this document was created. And this is where I did all the work. And then I asked it to transpose this into this one. Somewhere in that process, I've lost the context that I need for the design spec. So that's basically what's going on. And now I'm just trying to realign. So while it does that and responds, I can talk to you about these zones. Let's have a look. If you're available, that is. So zone 5 is actually layer 5, is where the algorithm does a lot of its learning routing, among other things. It has very well architected knowledge graph. That's not your typical Graphify Obsidian stuff. That's an actual ontological model, logical modeling. It's got things like identity doctrines and so on. It's got a structured memory layer, which is a learning state, which has files and different databasing. It has vector for certain processes. It has a local LLM. It has unstructured session memory and a couple of other things. So that's what that piece is. Verification is where there is the self-check, cross-check, surface conflict, and probe architecture in the algorithm, so how it decides between all verification tasks. Then there is the doctrine, which are more like contracts. So things like skills, scaffolding, data visualization, tasking, and all that kind of stuff. So tools, other things like that, right? It's basically your toolbox. Execution is your methodology. So it's anything that relates to methodology based on effort. So observe, think, plan, build, execute, verify, and learn. And within that, you have this input gate where it receives triggers. So triage, classify, escalate, choice, inject, and an observer that observes between the input gate and the potential triggers, which could be prompts, hooks, tool calls, voice, cron jobs, telegram messages, whatever you can imagine, right? Scheduled tasks and so on. So that's the actual algorithm there. Pretty neat, I think. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to use up a lot of context to try and realign.
Mm.
Oh, it's gone off and it started editing stuff. That's interesting. Now I didn't ask it. I didn't ask it to edit. So let's see what
Did
it's
it do the
doing.
zone versus layer?
It's updating the map. That's interesting. I'm going to let it play out.
Oh, I think it's updating the names from zone
Yeah,
to layer.
yeah. Algorithm layer ID, not zone ID. Yeah, that's right. But it's also adding some rule-based stuff in positioning. Let's look at the diff for circles. Exact polygon bounded. Yeah, polygon. That's why did it update that? Stack. What a strange thing to do. Okay, that's some shape amendment. Okay, yeah. So it's actually taking a lot of the feedback. It's updating some version numbers. Okay, it does look like it's actually taking the feedback. I won't check it all. Now the algorithm graph rewrite. Okay, cool. That's a backend thing because it has to index itself. That's for self-learning in the future. I just want to do it now. That makes sense. Ontology, layer vocab, patch bay, and so on. So that's fine. Okay, cool. I told you this would get messy, Chase.
Yeah, it's getting messy.
Yeah, in a good way. Now we're getting there.
I gotta say those visuals are beautiful though.
Now we're getting there. Now we're getting there, right? Now we're getting there. Yeah, there's a bit of overlap and stuff like that. You know, this is refinement. I think for the MVP, it's starting to look a lot clearer now. This is now it's using our taxonomy as well. Now, let's see the data. Yeah, we've got databases down here. We got a little bit, it's a bit messy, but it's not bad. It's definitely a big improvement. So we're happy with those changes. Okay, let's it's going to run the bun check build. I'm going to ask it to we're at 232k, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this basically committed, and then I'm going to give it some feedback that's off spec, right? So I'm going to ask it to address this zooming stuff. I'm going to ask it that I think the way this should work is the bar should move up and down, but the scroll wheel should be a zoom. I'm gonna thank you. That's an improvement, Claude. I would say that some of our rules about considering positioning and the way lines intersect and the way lines move over certain layers and so on haven't really been followed. It starts to look a little wild, a little bit messy in places. I'm not sure if there's anything you can do about that. And the second thing was something that was off spec, which was I'm quite happy that the scroll bar is there for me to move up and down. But I would actually like it that my scroll wheel was a zoom function. It can be limited, you know, it doesn't have to zoom out and in indefinitely, but it definitely needs some kind of zoom so I can get closer to the action at times. And I also think it needs to scale relative to the size of the glitch GUI, the electron shell, I mean. So let's see what you think about that. So not the best prompting, but you know, let's just see how we land here. We're at 234k context, so a little bit dangerous, but let's see. I'm not. We've got a lot of context loaded from the actual thing it needed to look at, so I'm hoping that it learns from it. And what's interesting is this is CSS, right? And the HTML is the same, so it should be able to understand it pretty well. Now, if this wasn't an MVP, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't just be prompting it randomly with some scope creep. that I just noticed, I'd be signing it off with a view of like capturing it and then addressing it later. But I know that I'm close to the end of the MVP, and so I just want to get it over the line, and then I can clean up a lot of this stuff after the fact. I'm gonna have to do a code review anyway, right? So you know, maybe some refactoring and stuff. We're just trying to get it over the line. All right. So in the status bar, I've got now my version of Glitch, my version of Claude, the model I'm currently on, the effort, the root folder that I'm in, the GitHub related stuff. There's no GitHub repository linked to this at the moment. The session time, my location, the time on the clock, and then I have my context up here and my usage limits there. And all of that stuff came from the stdin as well. Yeah, it's here. It's quite useful. So in the new version of Claude Code via the stdin, there's a lot of useful fields now that you can pick up, and they update every couple of seconds. You just need to listen for them. So what you don't get is things like git state. You have to actually compute that locally. You don't get system time zone and a few other little things, but generally it's quite handy. So this is available in the documentation. So I just had a little scan of that and saw what we could use, and yeah, we could create a little bit of a nice UI element. Okay. Both addressable. Let me reroute the long cross-layer edges to a right rail with bulkhead markers, lock clause 2 and 3, tone down the consultation, some wire. Okay, that sounds like a lot of stuff that I'm not sure is the right solution. So we'll let it play out just for fun because I want something to break. You'd think at 252K context, it's going to start getting it wrong. So let's see. Edge discipline. Okay. Yeah, the edge discipline doesn't look too bad, to be honest. You know, the line starts there, the arrow ends there. Looks pretty good. It's more just the formatting of certain things, right? And remember, this is not a live architectural image. This is just the shell for it. Okay, that's updated. Let's see if that... Oh, look at that. We've got zoom. That's good.
Let's go.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got a state of where we are. What's this? What are these weird little artifacts? Oh, that's usually off screen. Okay, cool. That's good. Oh, you know what else we need? To be able to navigate it with a left mouse click. I won't do that now, but you know, to be able to pull, to drag,
to grab it. Yeah.
Yeah, to grab it. Exactly. That would be neat. Okay, well, let's do that for now. Some of this edge stuff is a bit funky there. Look at this. Look at this. You see that arrow? It's touching the point, but the angle. We need a bit of logic here, but you know, nothing serious. This is all refinement. Okay, cool. Let's reboot that real quick. Okay. Neat. Okay, cool. And when we scale, and it scales. Good. So now it scales the size depending on the scale of the window. So if I go here and it's nice and small, and then I can just... Lovely. Okay, good. Awesome. So that went surprisingly better than I would have liked. I'm going to say, okay, great. This is fine for the MVP. As a V1 talking point, I definitely want to have a refinement pass over the images and the design, but for now that's fine. Can you please go ahead now and move us to complete all of our administration to close out the slice, and ensure that you factor in moving forward in all future e-slices the source document that was clearly in the design spec that I referenced here. Can you also ensure that the index picks up that document as supplementary for now until I can deal with it in a maintenance process? Follow the walkthrough, follow the plan to slice close. Okay. Okay, awesome. So this is just the architecture with the link-ins. I set it up in a way that these don't appear if the pipes were wrong, so that's good. And I've already checked that in the UAT. Oh, this is the crossover pathing. Okay, so you see these little pills. The idea is that as things cross boundaries, they're marked. So I can see that now. I can see what it was trying to do. It was trying to create a hump, so like the cable just jumped like a little U-shaped arc. I can see that. So this is just a refinement pass, nothing serious, not enough to stop me in my tracks. So it's slice close, loaded my skill. It's now listing the tasks within that. So it's going to update the slice journal. It's going to add design exploration file to the index as supplementary, which is the supplementaries of the language within my index. So if we go here, you see this index file. So I've got this whole data schema for how to index all the files in my directory. And it marks things with subfolders. These are the folders archived, supporting documents, right? It has load-bearing documents, and it has one other, deleted and retired, right? And archived. So that's what that's in relation to. So when it says it's going to add the design exploration file to index as supplementary, it was talking about that design that it didn't pick up. Okay, cool. Update E2 .2 to E25 plan specs to reference design exploration, right? So it's just saying for the other stages in this, let's keep referencing that this needs to come into the plan. So that's good. Add V1 backlog entry, which is me saying that it's going to need some refinement and a couple of other things like that. It's like all the little things I pick up along the way that I just think, oh, that would be nice, or whatever. I would also add the grab comment, but for now I'm going to leave it because we're at 310K tokens and I know that there's a lot of admin to do, so this is going to get messy. So I'm just going to just let it roll and pray to God it doesn't mess up too bad. The clever way to do this would be to allocate this task to an agent, so it uses a separate context window to do the administrative reading and writing, because that's when the tokens really get inflated. But the problem with that is when you're live streaming, it's a lot slower. And because we're live streaming, I want to make sure that we get moving as soon as possible. So do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah, that's looking good, man.
Yeah. A lot of time was invested in, again, it's the stuff you don't see, right? We want to make this as easy as possible for everyone, right? And we don't expect people to architect an algorithm like this themselves. I'd so be happy to teach people how to do it, but it is complicated stuff if you've never come from any technical background, you're just vibe coding. So what I'd prefer to do is make it as simple as possible to understand, like a workflow. It goes here, it checks this, it does that, and because of that, it does this, and have it in a way that's really visually pleasing, which you'll see as this starts to move through this E phase that we're in. This is just the start, right? Just the skeleton, right? But this is going to get a lot more interesting, right? And it's going to be something like the Apple kind of approach, right? In design, like it should just feel really easy, like an app. Like it should be really clear. Anyone can go in, and then if you want more information, it's there. But you click in and all this kind of stuff, right? And it gives you little pop-up windows and modals and things like that give you more technical information. But
yeah, really a user-first approach.
yeah, of course, because we want anyone that uses this to understand that their system is healthy and works.
Mm-hmm.
And this ties into the kind of the technical stuff is captured in like C4. And what we'll probably do is we'll have a like C4 button maybe on the dev page somewhere to launch the local host for that. And that all feeds into via the algorithm, right? You'll have like a doctrine for that, right? And then you would have like a self-heal function, which will be something that would be triggered by, say, a prompt or a skill, and it will be classified as a requirement self-heal. It will move into the execution phase, and then it will shift down to the doctrine, which will then learn that it needs to self-heal and look up the references of its documentation and all the rest of it, right? Nice. That's the vision. So let's have a look here. Okay. We did get a reset there. 2 skill descriptions.
Well, while we wait for that, do you want to take a look at? I just created a link tree for us for our streams.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. How can I? Do you want to send it to me on? Because I'm still streaming.
Oh, here I can actually share my screen.
Yeah, perfect. Are you sharing?
Yours, yeah.
Amazing. Let me go to the stream. All right, cool. Oh, yay! That looks awesome.
Yeah, so I was looking at Linktree. That way we had, one location where we could point everyone to go and use their favorite streaming platform to watch us, and thought, hey, why would I not just add this to glitchcatclub.com?
Yeah, which is that little website that you're creating right now in the background. Surprise, Kem!
Yeah, surprise!
Can I see the actual website you're creating? I love it. I love the design, dude. Yeah, yay!
Yeah, we got our glitch cats.
Yeah,
we got
awesome.
The streams. So what's coming up next and when, a countdown with the links. We'll have our past streams here. We're also going to have a log. This is something that's really nice just to keep track of, hey, what went well and what went wrong. Right? So over time, we can keep a little debrief of each session.
Sweet. That's so good, actually, because when we start, I think what we spoke about doing in the future was putting some nice bookmarks on these longer sessions, little debrief in layman terms of what people miss, where they can find it, because not everyone wants to sit down and watch like 2 hours or 3 hours of streaming. So that's pretty neat. Okay, cool. And then let's have a look.
And so then we also got our manifesto.
That's interesting. I'm going to have a look at that. Just a sec. I just want to check this is ticking along in the background. It is. Okay, good. We build in public. We break in public. Facts. We do not sell courses yet.
Well, we're going to be selling a community and a base product.
That's right. We don't sell courses. Yeah,
maybe
we're not going to even sell a product, right?
Yeah, we're giving the product away. They just got to be in the community. They get to keep it for life.
Mess around with it, do whatever they want with it. That's the idea. The idea is that one of the, like I said yesterday, the tool can be used. Glitch can be used for anything. It can be a personal AI assistant. It can help you with your business. It can be a business system, all of that stuff. But it can also, what I'm going to use it for is education. Right, I'm going to use it to teach people ideas and help them visualize it, see it, learn it in practice, practitioner done properly, no hype train. So that's cool. We run the code, live on camera, live. Oh, sorry, sorry, I'm half asleep. Live on camera with the bugs. Yes, we do. The chat is the lab. The archive is the proof. The cat is the cat. I like that, dude. I like that a lot. I usually have feedback. I'm usually like, it's pretty good. It's most of the way there, but that's actually really dope. I'm vibing with it. I like the pros. That's so cool. Love, love, love. Right, where are we?
You like that one? Let me I'll switch over.
Okay, cool. So we're done on this side. Depending on time, we can do another slice. We can talk about some stuff. It's up to you.
Oh, by the way, on your screen we can see you because
Oh, sorry, because you were sharing back to me, right?
yep.
Okay, I'm still getting used to this. When I get the second monitor, which is tomorrow, this won't be a
No.
problem. So
Night
it's
and
very,
day, bro. Oh,
dude, I can't even care. So the way the system's done,
it'll
just
be
for
great.
people to know, we just did a whole bunch of administrative stuff. It's all good. We're at 356K, which is not nice. So we're going to clear. And as he says here, resume command, resume glitch build. Cool, sweet. So let's do that. And that's it. We just keep it going, right? Resume glitch build. Yeah, sweet. So it's going to, oh, do you know what? I didn't check it. At the end of every phase, it gives me like a breakdown of what's coming next. And I didn't check it, and I should have. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I mean, it's all good. Our GitHub is clean, all clean on main, so no issue. But okay, I'm caught up on state. E2.1 was the static algorithm map, which is what we just saw, merged with PR77. The next slice, 2.2, is grade node hover tooltips. Okay, that's pretty basic. Let me check the spec and design source pair before starting. Okay, cool. All right. If anyone's wondering, this is just Windows PowerShell. I'm happy. I use IDEs. I use VS Code sometimes to check files and stuff like that, like markdowns, as you saw when I loaded up my index. Occasionally, I'll use IDEs, Cursor or whatever. That's fine. I prefer not to, because I find that when it sends the diagnostics on the pay packets, it sometimes makes the models go a bit funny. But this is really like min-maxy stuff. And this idea came up first because Chase mentioned it to me when he said to me, I was trying VS Code and my Opus model was misbehaving. And I looked into it and I dug into it and I started to see some interesting things. And so, I thought I'd go hyper raw. And ever since then, I can't turn back because I'm back into the old cool state of just looking and working in the terminal directly. So, but I totally also like a little chatbot type situation with Telegram or just being able to talk.
I was about to say, yeah, having that chatbot whenever you're on the move or you need to go mobile, dude, such a game
It's sweet.
changer.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
It's hard to go back.
Yeah, it is. It is. Especially when you start integrating voice and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's great about our system, of course, Chase, is that we can do all of that super easy. Once the algorithm, because you don't even have to conclude the algorithm, you build it as you go, right? If a feature needs part of the algorithm, you build out just that component, or a lot of features will then reuse components, right? So it's just in the classification. So it just kind of, after that, you just ship features really quickly. Ship. We build features really quickly. And so, if someone comes up with some cool ideas, like, oh, it would be really cool if I could click a button and all this crazy stuff happens, a million bots go crazy and start liking all my tweets. Not that we would ever do that. Then, this is how you do it. If you want to do it, this is how you do it. And by setting up the system in a way that it understands itself really well, which we'll get into after the MVP with things like C4, it will know itself better than any code agent will be able to tell it by reviewing its code. It will have all the code trace information. It will understand everything. Okay, so it's going to extend the algorithm map.typescript with tooltip role descriptions. It's going to create the algorithm tooltip TSX. Makes sense. It's going to wire the hover state. So when I hover my mouse over it, it's going to render the tooltip overlay. Oh, okay, that's interesting. It's going to add a CSS and tooltip. Okay, so this is pretty superficial. So while it does that, because I'm pretty happy just to ignore it and let it just run on its own. Have you seen any cool news or anything recently, Chase? No, you're focused on something else a bit.
No, that is all good. Here, I can stop sharing your screen if you want.
Yeah, I thought just while it ticks over, it's just basically thumping through. It's not too interesting. It's a really simple slice. Although simple slices are where things go wrong, so it'll be interesting to see. But it is simple. So,
well, hey, I got something too. I got some music for us.
Oh, show me.
Yeah, so we're gonna have.
I want to look, but I can't look.
Tunes.
Oh, okay, we're good to look. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good to look.
Oh, we got. Are we allowed to stream AI music? Is that the thing?
I don't see why not. Based on all of the rules I've looked up, you do have to pay for like a pro plan in order to be able to download the songs that are generated and then use them commercially, even though if we're just using them for our own pre-stream waiting room, don't know why we can't, but they did pretty well, man. The system prompt was created by Jax, who also created our website. So
what's this guy saying? AI bots keep the chat alive and help you grow your audience fast. No, thank you. We'd rather grow slowly.
you hear it? Can you hear it, Kim?
No.
Oh, okay. That might be why. Let me remove the source and re-add it. I don't know why. I was thinking you could hear it.
No, unfortunately, stream can't hear it.
Maybe because I did entire screen share. That could be in it.
I can hear it. Nice. We can share my screen and I can just vibe. Not even. You could. Oh.
Concrete fades to emerald green. The sweetest air I've ever breathed.
This is AI generated.
Oh, it's hard for me to hear you when the music's on.
It is crazy that this is AI generated.
Yeah, I really can't hear you. I can hear myself coming to your speaker when I hear the music.
Just a ghost, a distant echo on the coast. We
Hover, some of the gray nodes works. I hover choose skill, route to a closed enum of skills based on classify verdict, etc. But when I hover a lit node like triage, classify or inject, I'm not seeing anything. I am seeing a pointer appear on the live node, but no notification coming up in any form of modal. Cursor changes the pointer, no tooltip. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's the behavior I'm seeing. While a tooltip is visible, press escape. It dismisses it. Yeah, that's not okay. So I launched glitch. I hovered several gray nodes. I did see a tooltip appear. That was fine. I hovered over lit nodes like triage and classify, and the pointer changed to the old hand with no tooltip. While a tooltip was visible, pressing escape did not dismiss it. It actually dismissed my whisper flow, but I wonder if that's because I'm not focused on the pane. So I'll test that in a moment. Switch to run tab. Return to algorithm tab. No stale tooltip. No, correct. No stale tooltip. Nothing's there on the screen. Hover a gray node near the very top of the viewport. The top of the viewport, I see tool session file cron, if that's what you mean. Nothing's happening when I highlight those. You've mentioned one of the layer 1 hexagonals. That's not what you were talking about, so let me do that. Yeah, nothing, there's no change behavior there, so that should be good. So not sure if that's a full pass. Let's try that actually. Confirmed that when I'm focused on the pane, the escape does work. Oh, sorry.
What you doing? What are you showing on there?
I was testing. Yeah, I didn't know if you were showing my screen. I was just
You lifting your skirt over there?
Oh, dude. So this looks like it's pretty much worked. It's just applied some logic for these little modals to pop up, and also for the click feature when nodes are live, so that you can click into them and actually see what's going on. So that's fine. This is not a very vertical delivery, it's horizontal, but that's because we rushed it. I rushed it. You know, because vertical would be, don't bother putting the hand in until, you know, the thing that's behind it is visible. Pass, pass. Not a glitch bug, pass. Trigger jacks. Design source, okay. They were never implemented in 2.1 either. Okay, good. Good. Flip above test, no change in behavior. Oh, that's interesting, actually. Let's see what it means now. I didn't actually test that. I think I did in the past. Yeah, so it doesn't matter even if they're right at the top. Oh, flip above. Yeah, okay, cool. One small thing would be for V1 to discuss would be a grab feature. But let's not worry about that right now. To grab the pane and move around. Let's move through the walkthrough to the PR and do all of our administrative updates. Okay. Still no real issues, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, don't hear
Well,
that often.
Yeah, I mean, just so people know, this isn't because I'm a genius. It's because we've been lucky. See, we had an incident when this is phase E2. When I was doing C4, it was so bad that I did a write-up.
The painful day.
Yeah, the painful day. This was the async synchronous issue, the 15-second ceiling on my Sonic call. The classifier was over answering. I had a timing race condition. It was just an absolute nightmare. So yeah, it doesn't always go your way, especially when it's things like runtime issues. But nonetheless, we got there in the end.
Yeah.
So plan status. Okay, so it's updating plan status. Now the V1 backlog stuff. What I want to see next is portability. Anyone that's been watching any of our stuff yet, or does eventually, this is just an automated process, right? It's just going through all of my key documentation. So it updates certain things that will be used for the documentation of the system for its self-understanding. It's updating all my project management stuff for how we're progressing and plan, which Claude does a pretty good job doing, out of the box. It's also doing some portability between, we're currently building an Electron for the MVP because it's quicker, but we might go to Tori. And we're currently building in Windows, but we might also port to Mac OS in line. So we've got both. Giving us some options. So just anything that differs between those things is captured in portability. So when it comes time to build it, we don't have to do like a full code trace, even though it's a little MVP. Algorithm flow is stuff related to the algorithm. And then we've got these HTML documents that are like the progress that I keep referencing back here behind this screen. Slice journal is a journal of progress through the slice. My overall plan, my plan status. V1 backlog is any idea that I come up with that I want to consider, new features, ideas, things that I might have to catch in V1 versus the MVP. Everything goes there. And then I got some architecture documents, an archive for things that are dated and now superseded, and some flows. Right, I did it. I don't think portability was updated because it doesn't have to be, but I still want it marked as no change. But we'll see if we've done the full walkthrough. It might come after the PR, which doesn't really make sense. Have you also confirmed that you've done the full walkthrough of all indexed files that need to be updated? I won't force that through because I don't want to interrupt it when it's in the middle of Git processes. The answer here is definitely no. So let's see what it says. Good catch from Kem. Well, thank you. 2 gaps in my walkthrough. Index and progress. Well, thanks. That's really kind of you. Those aren't big gaps, to be fair. That's not too worrying. But I think once it checks index, it's going to realize it might miss some other stuff. Okay.
Man, right now I'm setting up our website to
Yeah, I'm excited. I wish I could just like switch to your screen and watch, but
no,
because
that's
of
all.
but as of tomorrow, this will be fixed, so that's good.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. But the thing though is right now I'm using Vercel to deploy it, right? And it's kind of funny because as popular as Vercel is, I've actually never deployed anything on Vercel.
You should do it. You should do it through GitHub.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, we'll do it
Oh,
automatically.
you mean GitHub pages or
No, just get your GitHub repo.
Yeah.
Yeah, via Claude. Like Claude would just do it.
Yeah, so Claude made my GitHub repo. I hadn't even made though like an API token or anything for Vercel because I'd never deployed anything on there because I self-host on my own VPSs. So just Vercel, like I don't know, I never really had a reason to use it. And with this website, there was something about the rendering speed that using Vercel would be less taxing on my VPS.
Yeah,
it just made sense.
Yeah, it's great.
One.
This is my Vercel.
Oh, nice. You're a pro. You use Vercel a bunch.
Yeah, so like the way it works is great. So like,
yeah, we're all up now, I think.
Yeah, so these are all GitHub pushes, right, through Aura Intel GitHub repo, and you know these are my blog articles. Yeah, it just hooks it up and just deploys it, and then you know, boom, there's a website, right? You know, and
Very cool.
that's it. Yeah. So it's pretty neat.
It's cool though how you can use so many different sources to do it.
Yeah. There's so many options, right? Like, and none of them are complicated anymore because AI can just hold your hand even if you're unsure.
Dude, the walkthroughs are getting really good now.
Yeah, and it can take autonomy on a lot of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty safe. I didn't see any issues with that.
I was using Google yesterday, and I forget what I was syncing it up to, but it actually, I think it might have been Namecheap. Yeah, I was setting up the Google Workspace for an email, and it was pretty awesome because it walked me through, like there was a pop-up, and then literally the pop-up would read what was on the page and tell me exactly what to do based on what the page, what was happening on the page. So it was a chat bot, but I never had to chat with it. I just could follow the directions, and as I followed the directions and like I went to the next page or I clicked into the settings.
Yeah, that's neat.
It would read the page would change, right? And then it would automatically tell me what was the next thing I needed to do, what I needed to click on or whatnot. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, that's super cool. I think when people make those kinds of integrations, like it gives you a chat bot that says click here, and then on the actual web page you see like a little circle like highlighting where you have to click, like a demo. I think these kinds of integrations are becoming more and more possible. Yeah, I love it. Okay, cool. So I'm done here. PR opened. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, let's merge and move towards clear. Let's see if it tries to force a push to main, because then we'll get the reject sign on auto mode. No, it's not. Let's see if it kicks back when trying to delete the branch. No issue. Yeah, you got to be careful with auto mode a little bit. It's not as protected as I thought it was. It does kind of go YOLO sometimes. Yeah, person with leisure for the branch. Yeah, okay, cool.
Ooh, bro, we got 19 plays yesterday.
That's cool.
On YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, I want to check out the stats. I'm scared to click the screen because I'd love to see what you're looking at, but I can't. Yeah, that's cool. Like, I can't believe so many people decided to like check it out.
Yeah, pretty cool, man.
I was always thinking, like, you start these things, and you're just like, imagine doing this on your own,
It's a lot.
like just talking to the void, you know, and just no one watching you, no one commenting. Like, it's so brutal.
Oh, baby, we are up and ready to go. If you go to glitchcatclub.com.
Oh, let's check it out. Hold on.
Now, our school, we still need to link that up. So maybe that's something we can do here.
Yeah, we haven't. I would leave it dead until we get it up and running, but that's good. Okay, so Glitch Cat Club comes up first search on YouTube. That's cool. Oh, look, school. Chase. Oh, it's your Glitch Cat Club, not mine. That comes up. That's interesting. Kem Chase Talk AI. Look at the searches when you search Glitch Cat Club.
Yeah.
Day 2 vibe coding with Jarvis. Glitch Cat Club. Chase audio. That's pretty cool.
Bro,
glitchcat.xyz. That's not us.
Nope. And then it starts getting into other stuff that's not
Glitch Cat
us.
music. Yeah, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then so let's do that. So Glitch Cat Club dot is it dot
com.
oh it's .com.
Oh yeah, baby. We got the
Oh, okay. I like the following my that's fun. You got to remove some of these halos. But yeah, this is dope. And then live clip perfect. Okay. I'd cut this stuff. I'd just go straight to join the club. Yeah, this is cool. I really like the design. I love this glitch effect as well up here. Streams. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. We're live. Actually, that's cool. Let's do that.
Yeah, so on Glitch Cat Club, though, YouTube is where you can see that yesterday's 19.
Okay, cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got a comment. We should probably reply to that. What's
Yeah.
the system you guys are using? Glitch. Oh, we need to explain to them.
Yeah, Glitch.
Yeah, that was
Look at all that engagement too. That guy was
yeah,
great. Jose.
yeah. That was fun. Yeah, that was awesome. That was like amazing.
This is actually something. The whole reviewing other people's apps and SaaSes. That's another angle that we, have people come in, and share like what they're working on. Happy to show it live stream and go over like we did with Jose. I mean, that was a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun. Yeah, he was a cool dude. And this, so just at the end of this, we missed this last time. We always do this. It always tells me what's coming next, right? So click any of the 8-lit nodes and a slide over panel opens from the right. 2 tabs in the panel. What shows a paragraph describing what the node does. Yeah. This is where we're starting to see more the detail. Files show the actual files. Yeah. Why this slice matters. Demo, it's MVP, not demo, but okay. The map turns from picture of the algorithm to window. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm just going to keep going. I know we might cut stream, but I'm just going to keep going. Unless you want to do something else.
No, dude, let's keep going. I got another probably 30 minutes before I got a call with a client.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. Actually, just deployed the second full automation for him. So replacing 2 large systems, right? And first one we're in co-pilot mode, and the second one we're doing the calibration data now. So this is for an enterprise company.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah,
I like what you built for them, but we can't really share it because.
Yeah, I can't talk too much about the specifics of it, but can say that the first automation is going to save them about $60,000 to $75,000 a year, and the second one probably about $150,000.
Yeah, it's good ROI, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's just the money that's going to be saved from having people manually do this job. That doesn't even can take into consideration the fact of the lag time as to how
Yeah.
long it took to actually service the tickets.
Also the work you did on like the consistency metrics and quality.
Yeah,
There's a lot of work done there, a lot of consulting on like the process, right?
a lot of base work. Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the things
benchmarking.
one of the things too, I'm excited because after this probably going to sign a longer contract with them. One of the things I want to go and add in there, and even this is something for Glitch that we should consider, is signing up or monitoring the status pages. So like Anthropic status, OpenAI status, whatever third-party LLM is behind the scenes actually doing the work. Because if if you have something waiting for that signal, whether it's your inbox and you're subscribed, or I don't know if they have an API you can check, but
Yeah,
then
they
if
do.
you
They do, and there's even aggregators, big free open source aggregators.
oh,
They do all the
beautiful.
LLMs. You just pipe in, and
Yeah,
it
just to
sends
pause
you
the work.
warnings, notifications, all sorts. Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking to pause the work, just add it in the automation that if very, very early on, like if the status is beneath a certain threshold or there's a certain amount of degradation, it would just delay running the automation.
You
That way
want to
you're
set
never running the automation with
you want to set up forks. So like if
yeah.
service A is down, fork to B. You know,
I thought about that, but with the consistency between models with some of this, as I've done, run it through data sets, the calibration data, I've seen pretty large spreads across the different LLMs. Like
so
Claude,
you'd rather you made the decision. You'd rather it fail than be processed by another LLM.
I would rather wait because it doesn't matter if the ticket gets back to the person, bless you, within an
Thank you.
hour versus the 6 minutes that right now they would experience. And if not even sooner. So right now the ticket's going to be resolved within 6 minutes of it coming in. Currently, if a ticket comes in during working hours, so 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on average, it takes 3 hours for someone to service that ticket. 4 hours, I think it was 3 hours was the mean, 4 hours was the median, right? But then if you actually look at the average of how long it takes for the tickets to be closed, it's about 12 hours because the tickets typically come in the day before at night because they're coming in from other parts of the world, right? It's international. And so the team that's servicing it is on the West Coast. So they're waiting. Everyone that submits the tickets in different parts of the world is waiting until the team on the West Coast wakes up, gets to their computer, starts processing the tickets. So it's about 12-hour wait time right now on average. And we're going to be cutting that down to about 6 minutes. So that's where, my thought process is, hey, I'd rather have the higher performance. And like, if it waits an hour, that's fine. We're still cutting down like it's still such a big improvement that we got cushion to just wait.
What's the underlying model?
Using OpenAI right now, we need compliance to give the okay on Anthropic. Anthropic, the benchmarks were a little bit better whenever I ran the data sets, but OpenAI is what we're running right now.
API is a 99.98% uptime. Chat completion's 100% uptime. That's pretty insane. It's pretty good.
Yeah, albeit I don't know how they say 100% when I see those yellows in there.
Well, they're just error rates,
rounding,
right? So
yeah.
Retries. That's not out. It's not red outage. This is an outage. Chat GPT shopping research feature down. Shopping research feature.
I didn't know that they were struggling that much.
Yeah, 99.82% uptime is not bad.
No, it's
compare
not.
Compare that to
but the thing is that even if, let's say, the mistake happens during one of these downtimes.
Look
Yeah,
at this. Look at this horror show.
yeah,
98% is so bad. It's really bad. 98%.
Hey,
That
hey,
is
but we know they've been struggling. This has been,
that's a
you're
that's
from
a
the kid that's already like down.
yeah. These are disasters. Though. Look at this.
Yeah, so in like 2 weeks, that 98.67 will be 99% once those
Yeah, but
red.
they've not managed to improve this for a long time. It's all over the period. It's always pretty bad. This is one of their better months. Like 98. What is it? 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th in a row.
Yeah,
That you can't do that. You can't do that.
no.
Okay, so where are we?
Dude, long term, that is one of the things. I think, to your point of them being down for so long, it is worth having that backup model in place. I just look at it as a more long term, safety net.
Yeah, I usually just fork. But I don't have model dependency because the projects that I've done are more yeah, they're simple. Like they use really light models.
Yeah, this definitely is not on the simple side.
No, it's not. It's quite technical. Yeah. Oh man.
Speaking of pain, I found some ghost records in their system, and they have 150
What?
of them.
Why?
Don't know.
See, this is dope. Look at this.
That is dope.
Yeah. So now on the active nodes within the algorithm, you can now drill in and start seeing all the relevant data you need.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
Oh, that's way faster now. Sweet.
Okay, sweet. I wonder if there must be some pretty neat AI solutions for bookmarks, right? YouTube must have some AI bookmarking.
What do you mean by you mean just like in transcript?
No, like on the actual YouTube video.
I don't think
Like
they do it for you, but like I've done it before for like other videos. So like if you go to the agent hub,
I default to Indie Dev Dan. That's so funny.
yeah.
Such a great creator. Okay, if what is this? Who am I signed into? Glitch Cat Club. Okay. So, this is seriously meta.
Seriously meta.
Yeah, I'm just in the delay. Okay, there is a delay. How bad is the delay? Let's test the delay.
It's actually not bad right now.
Delay.
Worse than others.
Yeah, that's a pretty long delay. But I think you can set this. I think there's a way to configure this. I don't think you're forced to have that delay. I think that's the default. I'm pretty sure that's the default. Okay. Yeah, so like these bookmarks, for moments across the timeline.
Yeah, they don't bookmark it though until after it's already been digested. So like the stream has to end, and then when the stream is ending, you like after it ends, right? You can't download the video.
Okay. Yeah, we need to work out all this little like nuance. There's so much to learn about this stuff. Okay. Let's do the quick UAT. So triage. Click one node at a time. Start with triage. Okay, cool. Top left circle, layer one. Click what? Then cheap pre-filter, short list of heuristics decides whether the prompt is trivial enough to bypass full classification. Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, amazing. And then it goes to the fast part. So it goes to all the deterministic code that sits within the triage, like so how it makes the decision. So this is what gets injected. That's so cool. Okay, cool. And then it wants us to classify, yeah, inject, yeah, execute. That's the stop hook. Stop hook. Glitch observe. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Claude MD. That's my Claude MD doctrine. ISA. Okay, cool. Scaffold. Okay, cool. All of this looks good. I just add as a future update that I want to do a sweep as a reminder of all the AI stuff. So like EM dashes and stuff like that. But when I click into everything, I see the what, and I see the files, and everything at a spot check looks mostly good, but you could always programmatically just check that it's the right content, but everything seems to be working as expected. Selected node gets thicker. Yes, it does. If I zoom in, you'll see that. Oh, I don't need to grab. I can do that. I just learned. Okay, that's cool. That's good. Gets thicker. Outlined. Yeah. Click a different lit node while inspector is open. Content swaps. Yes, it does. Gray nodes still tooltip. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all passed, including the babies to verify. Awesome. How long have you got, Chase?
About 30 more.
I
got 30.
Yeah, it depends. If the next slice is the one where we get to test the actual prompt going through it, that would be cool. But I don't think we're going to get enough time for that. I think this is 2.4. We'll see what the description is. Okay, move through our planned administration towards merge and do the walkthrough through all of our files to ensure as per the sweep as is defined. It's saying it's going to do it right here, but I just want to, actually, I won't prompt it. Let's see if it does it this time. This is where you need determinism. Okay. So maybe after this, have you seen any good news articles today?
Ooh, I saw a couple good news articles. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, the Gemini one, dude.
Oh yeah. Do you want to share your
Talk
screen?
about peeking. Yeah, talk about peeking under the hood.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to share your screen so I can check it out? See, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so this might be a shocker for.
Oh. All right. Let's have a look. Yeah, we also got to work on this. I can hear myself through you. There's something that's strange that goes on when we switch to your shared screen.
Oh, because it's using my
Yeah.
audio. So, like, if it uses the audio from my computer, I think you're lagging. I think we're lagging.
No, I'm not lagging. You were lagging. Yeah, I can see something's lagging. The stream is lagging. Yeah, you're lagging out on my screen. You're like pixelated. But I don't know if it's my side or your side.
So the reason though is because when I share my screen, you're getting played out of my audio. So then if you talk,
right. So I need to like mute, and then you need to mute when it's me speaking.
Yeah, something like that.
There must be a solution.
And I'm wondering, dude,
but
bro, if this Forbes page is not loading, which I think is.
Oh, the Omni video thing.
All right, this is the. Yeah, and this is, dude, something actually real quick. It's so interesting because a lot of the times the sources that are found for news articles, you attach them right as like a reference source to the story, then you go to it, and it just completely bogs down your computer with like one ad in front of the next. I don't know if you've had that happen recently.
Yeah. That's why
like
I pull it with Interceptor.
Yeah, I'll pull all the info, but figured it'd be nice to reference where it actually came from here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
man,
I mean,
dude, they must be struggling if they're spamming that hard. But here we go.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, so this is the.
Yeah, so we had what, 7 leaked model names?
Yeah. What I again, I think it's clickbait, man. Like you had, so I know there was someone that like apparently read the like a line in the I don't know what it was. Where do they find it? It was found in some like where was it? It was a line of code, but it was somewhere. It was like in a string somewhere or something, right? And it just basically referenced this Omni, and then there were like some other supposed new models in it or whatever. But they all kind of link up. And the theory is, if you think about the way Gemini release, they often don't communicate till they release. So they basically just release. There's no pre-release stuff. And it looks like it's just on the branch of like VO. So it could either be like renamed, a little sub-adapter. It could be anything, right? You just don't know. But it looks like they read something on the generation tab, I'm just looking at it now. They read something on the generation tab that read "powered by Omni," and that was basically it. And there was this full model selector, but not 7 models. It was just a model selector that had space for 7 models. And so I don't know, man. Like I just think it's kind of like I think it's a bit of a rage baity story, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, any other stories that you've seen that you're interested in?
I'm trying to think. Like today, there's a few. You sent me some to look at. Oh, I thought Daybreak was interesting. Like OpenAI. So I thought it was interesting because it's like a real product that you can buy. It's not like Project Glasswing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know it runs on 5.5. I know you can get trusted access. I think you can actually just request a scan, like a vulnerability scan. So they're both trying to basically say we really care about security. So OpenAI is trying to now to jump in the security mode, probably because they've seen the positive reactions in the IPO space to like Mythos, you know. And so I think like it's a bit of a play. I'm not mad at it. I think it's cool. I think OpenAI's 5.5 is pretty cool. So, you know, it's interesting. Watch this space. I might see if I can get access. That could be quite fun. But I think the idea that it does, even if it's just for money or whatever, right? I think it's still cool that they're focused on the security angle of everyone getting prepared, because the hacks are getting worse, and it's like daily, you know.
More and more of them.
Yeah, like Glasswing's not even a product; it's all closed partnership program, right? So you've got this unreleased frontier model. No one has access to it. So it doesn't feel very, I don't know. And so seeing OpenAI make these kinds of moves, I actually quite like. I think strategically they're really good. So I'm not mad at it, man. Like, how do you feel?
You know, it's kind of funny because I think everyone's wanting to claim that they're, you know, the safe model, like they're on the frontier of being safe. But if you really look at like what they're developing, they're all developing the best attack models, which I guess
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
you know, it kind of goes to the old chess thing that the best defense is a good offense, but also it's a little worrisome. I don't know. It gives
You're so
me
that's yeah.
some of those vibes occasionally.
Yeah, that is so true though. What you just said, they are actually just building better attack models. That it's not defensive. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
And and they're trying to then say that it can be used that way, which links me to the other story, which was also to do with Gemini, which you sent me, was the 2FA 0 day, the two-factor authorization 0 day, and apparently that was they're pretty convinced that that was written by AI.
Ooh,
So
I saw that. Yeah.
you actually sent me the article. It was the exploit was a Python script that bypassed two-factor auth on an unnamed popular open source web-based system administration tool. And so Google's they've got this group, don't they? Like the threat intelligence group or whatever it was, right? And they apparently caught it before the attackers could use it, so they say. They did quantify it as a mass exploitation event, but the bottom line was they said it was not Gemini that wrote it. I believe that, but they said they didn't say which model, but they said that it had signs of being AI generated because in the code it was like over annotated.
Yeah.
So like that's like like a hacker's not going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, the LLM telltale sign, it's too verbose.
Yeah, it's just too verbose, it's over the top, whatever. But man, like, I don't know. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse, and I just think like, two-factor auth on Google is pretty terrifying. Like, I start thinking about like, imagine like Android devices, imagine biometrics being stolen, spy bots. Like, it's pretty big. Like, if they don't pick it up, it's going to be a nightmare. And then I think about like Glasswing, back to Glasswing, and it's like, well, why are you the gatekeepers of who should have it from the company perspective? Like, I know the partnership is reasonable. It's, what is it? AWS,
20
Apple.
companies,
Is it
Cisco.
20? Yeah,
Mhm.
Cisco, Google's in there. But then,
Mhm.
you know what made me laugh? It's Google. Then they have like JP Morgan Chase. What
Yeah.
about the other banks? JP Morgan Chase isn't even like the most significant bank.
Don't even
By
get me started there, Kem.
that's like investment stuff. That's like
Now
who's
we're
investing.
really talking about some.
Yeah, like, why would I want JP Morgan Chase to have Mythos?
It's kind of like, yeah,
Might as well give it to Palantir, or like, like,
it's like a software developer developing vaccines and stuff for everyone's health.
yeah. Oh, this is getting into conspiracy territory. I love it.
Well, I think really what we're just touching on, not to dive too deep, is that certain experts in certain verticals, it makes sense whenever they are involved with things, and then other experts in the verticals, you're like, bro, you're in the wrong vertical here. This isn't like JP Morgan. You don't need to be in the top 20 for using glass or in
Yeah,
Glasswing.
yeah.
Like,
I also love the fact that,
Bill,
like,
get out of the lab here. Like, you don't go back to the computers, right? Like,
I also like the fact that OpenAI, I don't know if it's like they're branding people or whatever. You know how Anthropic they call it like Project Glasswing.
cattle branding people.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Camel
Initiative.
branding. Yeah, yeah. So they call it, Anthropic call it Project Glasswing, and OpenAI just call it Daybreak. They don't call it Projects Daybreak, right? Like, it's so funny watching these guys like go at it, and they're both trying to be diplomatic. They got so many eyes on them, and the IPO. It must be so stressful. Like, I'm not fans of these people. I think they're doing fine for it, but it's like, I just think it must be so stressful, like having to always be so cautious. Like, I think I saw a tweet from Altman, and it was like, it feels good to be back on Twitter announcing Daybreak or whatever. And I was like, you never left. Why are you acting like you left? You've never left. You've been on every day. What do you mean it feels good? It's like this signaling of a reset,
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, we've gone away, we've sorted out security.
It's so
Daybreak,
it's so disingenuous, but it's like cyclical. Yeah. It's how fast can they move from one
we
side
left,
to the
we
other.
left. We were the underdogs. We were losing all of the subscriptions. We came back with a really kick-ass model. Anthropic's losing it, and now we're coming back with Daybreak because we care about security. It's like this whole like thing where they're like shaping themselves up to be like the basically. It's interesting. If Anthropic aren't careful, people are going to buy into this, So,
Dude, and I got a funny tweet actually to show.
oh yeah, cool.
Oh, this is hilarious. Hilarious. Okay. And this is like, it's such an interesting space because not only are, there are billions of dollars being invested, and let's see, we do not want to share my audio. Cool. It's like, not only are there billions of dollars being invested, but you also have these petty things. So this was Amal Avasari. He's over at Anthropic. I believe he's one of their engineers. And so he had released, this was April 21st, some clarification as to exactly what was happening with Claude Code, and that it wouldn't be on the pro plan anymore.
Oh yeah, this is right? This is where they were having compute issues.
Yeah, and you have Sam Altman on here. Okay, boomer. Like, you have the CEO of one of the most powerful companies in the world and they're behaving on Twitter like some of the other, dare I say, megalomaniacs.
6 million views.
But like, bro, like, okay, boomer, like,
I love Twitter. I love
yeah,
Twitter. It's so good.
41
Oh,
years old.
yeah. Chill, bro. You can't beat the comments. The internet is like it's just you can't touch the internet. Chill, bro. Let's see these. Let's see some of these big ones. Boomer on boomer hate crimes.
Boomer on
I
boomer
swear to
hate
God,
crime.
this site is like 90% bootlickers and bootlicker box. This guy is a sociopathic scumbag.
Dude, I love there's an acronym here. Bob hate crimes.
Yeah. Bob. We're getting some Bob in the mix.
Yeah.
Boomer on boomer. Oh no. Hit the red button, Sam. What did you say? Is that comment? Hit the red button, Sam. I'm dying of boredom waiting for my limit to reset. Ooh, that's a dig at the topic. Yeah, the drama is unrelenting. Oh my God, that's so funny.
So childish, but it's crazy, man. This is one of the leaders of one of the most powerful companies in the world, and yet
look at go to Sam. Look at who he's following. Click on his following. Yeah. CEO at Replit. President. Okay, OpenAI.
is he following me?
Not yet. Gary Tan. Y Combinator, baby. You can never forget the Gary Tan mega prompt.
Yeah.
Do not hallucinate. Alexander Wang.
This is one of the funniest things, I think. This definitely he might be posting about that $1,300 prompt engineering course at the
yeah.
might be saying it's a really good deal. Like,
yeah, the college course on prompt engineering.
Yeah.
Let's have a look here. Space James where it does. Airbnb. It's all your typical suspects, isn't it?
Yeah, very typical.
It's basically a bunch of OpenAI people, bunch of frontier model people, bunch of investors.
Yeah.
There's no one interesting. You always want to find, like, I love scrolling these sometimes, and occasionally you'll find like you'll be going through like Boris Cherny, and then you'll suddenly see like this random kid with like 8 followers, and you'll click in, and this kid will be like, I just entered a hackathon and like made this system that like changes the world. And you're just like, oh, who's this? OpenClaw, OpenAI, and the future.
This was for anyone that doesn't, anyone watching that doesn't know, this is the gentleman that built, founded, created OpenClaw. So
the Claw father. Yeah, he was really in the right place at the right time, wasn't he?
Very much so.
Like during the real like GitHub hype feed.
And one of the things, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a genius idea, but the whole heartbeat, I think a lot of people really treated that as if it was some novel, totally groundbreaking discovery, and really
a scheduler.
Yeah, job to run every 5 minutes or 30 minutes.
I'm of the camp still to this day where I'm still seeing posts about OpenClaw where people are like, if you're not running your whole business on OpenClaw, you're doing it wrong. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. I've looked into OpenClaw. I understand it. You know, I didn't at first. I couldn't wrap my head around what anyone saw in it because I just thought it was really basic. And like, I just thinking like, then I thought, oh no, I can see the value because he's kind of systemized it. You know, this idea of like GitHub repos are like magic wands. People just want this thing that's done and ready, just works. Yeah. But then I thought like OpenClaw was a pain to set up because he didn't do that, right? It made it a pain. It's just there were so many people producing content and then people filled in the gap as I do, I'll show you how to set it up, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I kind of just felt like it was all a bit of a kind of, I don't know. It was like, you know, I mean, I like look at the open source Hermes agent.
Mhm.
Like, and you look at that, and that's pretty neat, and it's like an OpenClaw vibe, right? And I look at that, and I think to myself, what's really good about it? Like, what is it that I like about it? And I go through it, and I'm like, oh, it's actually that these 30 skills are really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it's nothing to do with the agent. It's just
No.
the fact that he's packaged it with these 30 pretty well crafted, pretty good skills that are open source. So then I'm like, but they can only be triggered in that setup with that agent, and you don't get access to your auth. You don't get access. I'm like, why is anyone? And this is the debate I was having in the Wizard group chat, right?
Mhm.
The AI Wizard group chat, and it was just like a bunch of people saying like, oh, we really like it, and then I was getting pinged messages about like the reason is just that people, are busy. They're like busy with life. They don't want to build systems. They don't want to make this stuff
No.
themselves. They just want it done for them. So if something comes out that's kind of gets you there quick and it's pretty good, which I do think Hermes is pretty good. There's a lot about it I like, but it's like, why would I want to build it myself, or why would I want to,
Well, and I think one of the things that's worth mentioning, one of the steps that really does take a considerable amount of the time is actually the testing phase, right?
Yeah,
Like
it is.
whenever my old partner Ty and I were building out our SaaS product, right? He told me it's very common that it's 1 part building, 2 parts testing.
Yeah, at least.
Mhm.
I think the coding part is like the smallest part.
Yeah.
All the administration, all of the testing, I include testing in that. Like all the QA, the UAT, the regression, the evaluation. That's the other thing. Even when you go live, like even after you built, it's the period that you're using it where everything really starts to shine. And then they're looking at performance, then you're looking at security, then you're looking, it's all the unsexy stuff. So it's like if someone's gone through that journey already, I can definitely see the value in that, like for sure. But that's why I really like the idea of what we're doing with Glitch, and that we can look at something that's open source like that because the repos are out there, right? And we can just say to Glitch, hey, listen, you understand your architecture. What can I take from this that I like? And
Mhm.
how can I improve upon it? And Glitch will just bang it out. Like it's up and running in like less than 24 hours. And it's like, it gives you that ease. It's just that designing these types of systems is quite difficult, as you can see. We're doing it on stream. It's difficult, but if you can nail it, and I do think 90% of it is in the algorithm. Because I was thinking about this today, actually, Chase. It's like you can set up all these really cool like skills and processes and automations, and all of that can be cool. And people do that, and they bundle it in a piece of UI, like a web UI, and they call it an operating system, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a glorified dashboard, right? But it still does some pretty neat things because they've got all their little buttons and and their automation, so it kind of works. And then I think, well, that's not the magic though. The magic is being able to prompt whatever that trigger is, so like voice, telegram, in the terminal, whatever. And for the agent, in the words of like Meisler's pie, right, understands what you're trying to get at, and then makes decisions that are deterministic consistently, and
Yeah.
doesn't need to ask you for the context. It just understands. It doesn't have to think. It knows that I'm going to need to use an interceptor. It knows that I'm going to need to do this and that. And so I kind of think like that's kind of where the magic is. And I think that's like you can't trade anything for that, because this space is moving so quickly that you just need a tool that you can just go in and say, do it. And as the models get better, it only gets better. It's got that, OpenClaw and this stuff. It's just, yeah, it's just, I feel like it's a lot of hype.
A lot of it is, yeah. I agree. And a good example of what you just mentioned, where the system knows you so well, it's kind of like the website, right, dude? That was a one-shot prompt, actually, where I just gave it. Actually, I take that back. I did answer some questions, so it was one shot plus answering some questions in the plan phase. But I told it, I was like, "Hey, Kem needs to like this. We need to wow Kem." Like,
Hmm.
and so it had to know that you are more technical whenever it comes to creating websites and like really cool creative ones, and hence to add those not anti-AI features, but the features that you know don't
It didn't
put
pick
the
up.
AI slot in there.
It didn't. It will know from today because
Yeah.
you're tracking the transcript contract. It will know from today that I don't like halos
Yep.
that are like 3D pills. But it got like the font, the terminal aesthetic. It got like that whole like that's my branding kind of
Yeah.
natural. Like, oh, I like that, and the color schemes and stuff. Yeah, no, it did a really good job. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. With more context, as long as it has the memory and the learning and the architecture, the next time you probably it just gets better.
Yeah.
It just gets better and better and better and better the more you use it, and that's really it, dude. Awesome. We got loads done this stream. It's been much more of like a practical stream, like just delivering all the kind of admin stuff.
Yeah.
We did like several slices. It was like boom, boom, boom. The architecture pieces coming together. There's still a whole bunch to do. We should talk offline about the fact that I'm with the kids for the next few days.
Yeah, we'll need a short break because I got a call I'm about to jump into, but I think then it's time that we play we roll out our music, our outro.
I think so. I'm ready when you are. Never gets old.